Hey everyone, Hannah here coming at you with another video, and today I want to talk about our November finance update. October has really been all about us funneling as much money as we can into the stock market. Unfortunately, we decided to funnel a lot more money into the stock market just before one of the biggest stock market rallies we've had in a very long time. Over the past month, we have made the conscious decision to begin investing all of our house down payment fund straight into the stock market. While this may be a controversial decision, we decided that since our time horizon is more than a year or so, that we would make more money off of the money being used to be able to make money for us rather than having it sit inside of our savings account. So that way, once we have enough money, we can use the money within Robinhood to buy a house either outright or be able to put a significant bigger portion down than the typical 10% down payment. This has caused us to be even more passionate about how much we invest every single month, and I'm very happy with how we did in October. So without further ado, let's get into the current totals of our investment accounts. So starting off here with Robinhood. Now, as I said, I added a lot of money this month for us into Robinhood, and so I'm pretty proud of all of the stocks that I bought this month. This month I put $12 into Albertsons, $30 into ARK. Now this is the primary ARK fund. I had been investing in ARKQ previously, but I decided to diversify just a little bit and to get ARK's Innovation ETF, since that is the one that has posted the biggest gains year over year. I invested $121 into VOO, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, again for just a little bit more diversity in the portfolio. I invested $42 into Rocket Mortgage, $82 into Realty Income, trying to get those monthly dividends up, $146 into the aforementioned ARKQ, $59 into Nerd, which is a esports ETF that I've kind of fallen in love with here over the last couple weeks. $40 into Canopy Growth, $30 into AT&T, again trying to help push those dividends up a little bit. $185 into Tesla, $17 into Hanes Brands, $39 into Nintendo, $137 into VTI, a total stock market index, $58 into Lemonade, a company I kept in my IRA portfolio already, but decided to pick up a share on my primary account on Robinhood as well. And no month can be complete without a little bit of Apple. Here we spent $69. So that brings the monthly balance update for Robinhood up to an explosive $4,033.78. So moving on to the M1 Finance Roth IRA. I didn't change any of my positions within the IRA, and I'm pretty sure that's going to stay the same for a very long time. I enjoy a lot of the companies that are in my IRA, and even though I do have some riskier plays that may not be able to keep up with their growth long term, since I have everything so low in the percentages that most of these smaller companies that are a little bit riskier are at 1% or 2%, I'm not too worried about how it's going to be in the long term. Now moving on to my new jobs 401k. This has only had one paycheck cycle go through it in the meantime between these videos, since the October finance update was in the middle of the month and this one is at the very beginning of the month. But still, the new job 401k has grown to $716.10. And finally, looking at my old jobs 401k, which has been doing very well for me. The new balance for the old jobs 401k is $1,543.35. That brings our entire investing total up to an astonishing $8,046.33. I am so happy that our portfolios have grown so much over the last month, and even though this is an extremely good day, and I'm sure they will get a little bit of a correction here in the coming days and weeks, it's still nice to see that insane gains that you get day after day when you put in so much work into the stock market to make sure that you pick the correct stocks, and it's nice to see them get a little bit of traction. So now I'm going to be switching over to the computer to show you all our YNAB progress for the last month. Hey everyone, we're back over here at the computer and I'm showing you our YNAB account. So I figured a good place to start would be the spending totals here. And as you can see, they're pretty evenly mixed up here. So I am pretty proud of the 21% that we have put into the untouchable goals. So this is both our investments and saving for things like the wedding, things that are all long distance away, but we are putting money towards. So then moving on to the untouchable bills, which is basically all of our car insurance, things like that. We haven't seen much of a change here. But I do expect that this will go down in the future, but this is also the category where we use for our car insurance and our car payment, so any money that we're using to actually help beat down debt will be in this category. Then looking at our monthly variable bills, That's about 16.2% of our total at $727. This is from a lot of different things like auto repair work and things like that. And then looking at But I Want It, a huge $1,480, 33% of our income last month went into the But I Want It category, things that we didn't absolutely need. So I thought this was important to show everybody because it shows that you don't need to spend every single dollar of your paycheck towards your investments in order to still feel like you are doing good things for your future and are help building a more prosperous life in retirement. Then looking at hidden categories, $250, these are things that we no longer need to show a category for. And then true expenses at $40, which is just building up things like the YNAB subscription, our registration and inspections for our cars, things like that. So then moving over to what I think is the most interesting part of this whole journey, which is the net worth. So if we take a look at our net worth chart here, there's not a lot of movement in terms of how the graphs look, and that's because we've spent so much money into the stock market right now that we actually haven't paid our car payment the last couple months. It's not that we're late, we were just 3 or 4 payments ahead, and so we decided we would just wait until a closer time to start paying off the car payment again. I definitely do think we'll be a little bit more aggressive here in the future towards it, but I figured it would be better to get the money in the stock market as soon as possible with how volatile it was prior to the election, and fortunately enough, I was correct. So if we take a look at September, we were at a net worth of $1,640. Then moving into October, we are at a net worth of $2,307, and just the little bit of progress that we've made in November has brought us up to $3,088. Now this is primarily due to me updating the tracking accounts on the day when I do this video, so that's typically going to push this month into what we're primarily looking at in terms of net worth. But just realize this is most of what we did in October that got us to this place, because it's only the beginning of November. So going into our main budget here, I've switched it over to October, since again this is where all of the moves have been made that have pushed us forward so much. So if we take a look at the standard bills here, the untouchable bills, I actually totally forgot that that's the reason why the untouchable bills were so high this month, is I actually ended up buying a new phone. The iPhone 12 had been announced and I was so excited to go buy one, but I had decided that I should just get last year's model of the 11 Pro or the 11 Pro Max and be able to deal with the slightly worse camera, because it's still going to be an amazing camera and I think it does a great job shooting my YouTube videos in 1080, so I didn't need whatever crazy little difference it was going to be between the 11 and the 12. And then pretty standard movement in these categories here, just creating a little bit of an extra wiggle room for the subscriptions, therapy, things like that don't really change. Then moving into credit card payments, not too much going on here, just some outflows. And again, since these are tracked so well through YNAB, it doesn't necessarily matter what our credit card payments say on here because it's just all reflected inside of the other categories. So then looking at the untouchable goals, the aforementioned investing, wedding planning, things like that. So we have managed to sack away $60 towards the wedding, which I feel very good about. I think that we are just going to keep adding to that over the coming months, and especially once we get our tax return and things, we're going to use that money a little bit more scrupulously towards the wedding, so that way we can start building a bigger balance, so that way we have a bigger amount of money set aside for the wedding than what we had already planned for, just in case things get a little bit more expensive. So taking a look here at Robinhood, and this is what I'm most proud of for this month, $1,084 into Robinhood. Now, coming from somebody who waits tables, we don't make a load of money. We don't make a ton of money. But to be able to put $1,000 into the stock market this month, to be able to build us a better future, and to be able to help us get that house that we so desperately want, I am so proud of that. And also, we managed to put about $300 into the Roth IRA, which is more just straight for our future, so that always feels good as well. We unfortunately haven't been able to build up these categories such as the pet, vet, litter, and bills and slush categories like that, just because we have been focusing so aggressively on our investments. Then moving into the monthly variable bills here, so we have the grocery store, $180 for the month, which sounds about right. We typically do spend about $50 a week, and as much as I would love to spend less, and as much as I assume that we're going to spend less, we end up spending about $40 to $50 a week every single week on groceries, which is fine because it's the sustenance you need to survive, and you might as well enjoy it a little bit. Then moving on to health, we actually borrowed some money away from there to put into the investments because we didn't have things coming up in the super near future. Then $70 in gas, which again is pretty typical. And we managed to sack away $206 towards gifts for the holidays. Maybe towards the end of November, maybe I would start thinking about the holidays, but it feels really good to have put some money towards it before December. And even if it's only in October, I know we'll be thinking about it a little bit more next year, so we can set up a goal and do it a little bit every single month. Then also looking at clothing, we see a big outflow here of $274.26. I desperately needed to go to the mall and refresh my wardrobe. I was at the point where I didn't have a lot of things that I felt comfortable with, and having lost just a little bit of weight, a lot of my clothes didn't fit exactly the way they did before. So being able to go to the mall and buy all of these new clothes and be able to feel so much more confident from it. I'm somebody who derives a lot of my happiness and my confidence from the clothes that I'm wearing, and being able to refresh my wardrobe and get things that aren't all stained to hell from chicken wing sauce makes me feel very good. Also, I bought a new winter jacket, and those are around $100, so that explains a lot of that outflow. Then looking into the true expenses, we can see I funneled a lot of money into the brakes, and fortunately enough, we didn't end up needing the brakes. The original shop that told us we did need brakes had quoted us a high number, and so we went somewhere else to get them done, and they told us that we didn't actually need them at all. So that was a nice break from what we thought was going to be a really expensive outflow, and that helped us put a little bit more money into investing as well when we found that out at the beginning of this month. So again, everything pretty normal here. Brakes registration, just kind of filling these up a little bit as I can, but again, not too worried about it since they are such small a month balances that I can double down on them whenever I want to kind of push them forward a little bit. Then moving into our wish farm, we've managed to put a little bit away towards all of these wishes, and Sage actually decided that the linen dress would be a good Christmas present to ask for, so we took that off of the wish farm for now. But if she doesn't end up getting it for the holidays, I'm sure it will end up having some money in the category down the road. Then moving into But I Want It, we have the $800 outflow for that really expensive piece of art again, and a $48 outflow for energy drinks. This was buying a pretty large stock of energy drinks at Big Lots. I don't want anybody to think that I'm spending this much every single month. It's just when they come on sale and there's a particular brand that I like that makes me feel good, that is made with like some sort of green tea energy and isn't the typical really bad for you energy drink, I tend to buy out the whole shelf because they are typically so cheap at like $1 a can. Then eating out, $314.97. Yeah, it was a big month for eating out. We kind of discovered a local Vietnamese place that we had always known was there, but we hadn't really given it too much of a shot. And once we tried it the first time, we decided we absolutely loved it. And between all of the other things that I did this month, like taking my mom to an appointment, and then she wanted to get some food while we were out, and then she paid me back part of it, but there's no easy way to show that in YNAB. So that it does explain a little bit of the eating out budget. But also we really do enjoy eating out. So that's been a priority for us, and I'm not too upset at the $315 hit this month on that. Then moving into the rest of the But I Want It's, $95.88 here for beer. That's for both going out and for buying beer for myself, and I think that's pretty good considering I don't drink that often. And most of that is from going out and how expensive it is to buy beer when you're out at a brewery. Then $55 into vape stuff, basically getting myself reset back up so that way I am good for another little while. And that about rounds it out. As you can see, the emergency fund has gone up $235 this month, and the house down payment has $42 in it as well. Now you may be asking yourself, why do you have the house down payment in your savings when you mentioned that you are saving for the down payment so aggressively in Robinhood? And the reason for that is I want to have a little bit of a cash position so that way I can buy into the markets if I find something that is extremely cheap that I feel like I can get a good return on. And also it helps to have some money in our savings account so that way it can increase our ability to be able to get a mortgage when we are ready for one, and might change how we feel about in terms of how much money we take out of Robinhood in order to put on the house. So that pretty much wraps up our October finance update here. on YNAB. Again, very happy with the net worth here, and being able to see a net worth of $3,088 with $10,000, almost $11,000 in assets just blows my mind. I mean, that is just so much money for me. As somebody who could never save money beforehand, it makes me feel so good to see that $11,000 in assets. And as we keep aggressively pouring money into the assets and paying off the debt as the months come by, I'm sure this will get even more impressive to me because of how far I've come in my financial journey. So there we have it, our November finance update. I'm so excited about how October has pushed us to move so much more forward on our investments and ultimately towards our future that we can't wait to be at. Every single dollar we put into our investments is either helping us build towards the house or build towards our ultimate goal of early retirement. And I'm so excited to share this entire journey with you every single month. So if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and share it across social media so that way we can spread the idea of saving and investing your money to more people across the world. Also, if you've been enjoying watching these videos and seeing how my balances are climbing every month, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be updated whenever I post a new video. Thank you all for watching and take care.